The use of glitter has become quite popular in recent years, especially on garment printing. You may see it on like a logo or like a large piece of text, like this case where it says love. On the front, it could be like a pink glitter. You can also have glitter as a post-finishing technique on things like greeting cards. It might be, say, a birthday card, and the balloons on the birthday card are hand-finished with glitter. And there's also now a glitter base material. That's a sheet of paper that's got like a silvery, glittery appearance. And then you can print over the top to create different colored glitters. And we can simulate all that using the Visualis3R software. So what I wanted to show you today is how we would do that using the file setup from Illustrator. So what we've got here, we've got some different layers. So let's just bring this over here. We've got a background, which is the t-shirt. I've added in a foil there for the actual hanger because we're going to simulate that in metallic, even though this is really about print finishing. We just want it to be a little bit funny and just add that one in as well. We've got the coat hanger. We've got a spot white, which we're going to be working with. Let me just show you that one as well. I'll turn these on and off. So we've got the spot white. The white's going to block out the fabric of the t-shirt, and also we're going to use it behind the back of the wooden hanger. We've got the original CMYK logo. We've got some gold, which we're going to do, like a gold metallic. We're going to have glitter. It's going to be a pink glitter, and we're going to mask all that out. Now the thing is, when you've got everything set up, if you've got your masks and everything, you can't see your design. If you've got your files switched on to Overprint Preview, you can't see things either. You know, you can switch on and off your separations, but it's really not very good. That's why the whole point of having the Visualis3R software will allow us to simulate all this effect. So we've imported that file into the visualizer, and what we're going to do now is set that up. So as always, we need to go and work out what we want to do and place the layers in a particular order. Now foil, we're going to do this on like a silver foil to simulate like the foil effect. Now this is going to go behind the back of that gradient that was in the design, so we're going to send that to the back, and then we're going to bring the white to the very bottom. So it's just basically changing the order. So now if we take a look, you'll see obviously on the coat hanger itself, we've got that foil kind of aluminium coat hanger look. And like I said, although we're doing a print finishing, it's pretty cool that we can actually add a few more little creative tools in here should you want to make it look a little bit more realistic when you're doing your visuals for your customers. Okay, so gold, we have a gold, so quite popular on garment printing specifically is using gold and metallic colors, and they're basically like a heat transfer. You can put in a little bit of flake size, because on these sort of embellishments you basically would get that as well. Let me just move these things out of place because something doesn't look right. Where is all my embellishments? Let's see. Okay, we need to bring it up to the top layer. So there we go. So again, just to make sure that you've got the things in the right order, my gold is at the bottom and it actually needs to be above the fabric, or above the CMYK in this case. Okay, so we've now got some sparkly metallic gold areas in there, and if we zoom in, you'll see how we've got that little bit of texture, which is what you get when you're working with metallic things. It's not always completely smooth. We can change that color as well if we want to make it a slightly different colored gold. Maybe it's slightly deeper. So we can set that all up in there. Next, we can mask it out, so we could show that as masked out, and now we're going to put on the glitter. So on the glitter, it'll define it as a green to start off with, because it's got a warning triangle that says this layer needs to be configured. So my spot color was called glitter, but it doesn't know what glitter color is, it just sees glitter, and this will allow me to actually set up the color as I want. So I'm going to use like a pink glitter. So you need to go to the pink color, and then we need to go down to the dark area, and it might sound a little bit strange, but basically we need to set the dark color in the glitter, because the way glitter works is a reflection of light, so you need that contrast of lightness and darkness to bring this to life. We're going to bring the scale down of the glitter on this one, and we're going to increase the intensity just to brighten it up a little bit. So now what we have glitter on our t-shirt, we have metallic gold in there as well, and just to simulate that, we have that coat hanger showing with a foil. So that's basically showing how that file would look when we're printing it onto CMYK. Now at this point in time, that black is actually part of the CMYK design, and maybe obviously we want to do it, what's it going to look like accurately. So what we can do is we can actually remove that black. So we could just delete it and get rid of it, or just hide it, or switch that layer off. And let's now just save that file again. and we'll bring it into the visualizer and we'll see what it looks like without the black, because we're going to simulate that through the substrate or the base material. So let's now select our t-shirt design, and as before we'll need to set up our colors because it's being re-ripped, so it treats it as a new file. So we're going to mask that out, we're going to put it to foil, we're going to drop that down to the bottom, we put it above the white, the gold went to the top, the glitter was done as a pink, and this is where if you save your presets you won't have to set all these things up again. Obviously I'm just showing you how quick and easy it is to set these things up. The gold, we had a little bit of flake size on there, and everything's looking okay apart from the fact that our t-shirt is white, and that's because it's a masked out area. So what we can do here, we can go into the substrate and let's just do like an uncoated type material, and let's just do a black. So now we've got this t-shirt, and you might think, well, what would that t-shirt look like if it was done on red or pink or whatever? So you can play around and fine tune it and see, you know, would it look better on a purple t-shirt? So you get the idea. You can play around by using the base materials without having to change it. And the reason I showed you this method is because we now have that same black t-shirt, but if we switch off all the colors, you've got the base material, we've got the foil, and then we're going to have white. So the white ink needs to go down to block out the substrate. So in this case, it will be the material of the t-shirt. I've also put it on this coat hanger to block out, so I can then put the CMYK over the top. So cyan, magenta, yellow, and black, and then put that glitter and the gold. So you can see and use it correctly to get your layers right, to see, does it look right? Have I set my file up correctly? So like I was showing in this case, we're putting a white ink behind the back of this logo. Now sometimes you don't need to put a white ink behind the back of it. Sometimes these transfers are actually quite opaque, but it is a very common process of underpinning things with a white ink. So there we go, we have a t-shirt design showing one application of using glitter as a post-finishing technique, in this case on garment printing. Now the next file I'm going to show you is we're going to do a piece of packaging just to show you the base material. So let's just go to one of our base material files. I'm just going to switch off a lot of the layers in this one. So it always does remember the last layer, the base material that we're using. So we're just going to switch that back to the gloss coated just for now. Now we can ignore all these different layers. You know, we had things in here. Let's just mask that out. We'll just forget about the fact that we could show these as silver glitter or gold glitter or whatever in the file. We're actually going to do it through the base material. So we're going to go down here into the substrate controls, and we're going to go to glitter. So we can now put glitter on there, and we can set that glitter to whatever we want. So maybe it was that kind of pink glitter. So we can go in here, we can change the intensity, we can change the scale and everything else as we did before. And now we have a glitter material as a base. So what I said before about the fact that you get like this kind of silvery base material, that's usually the kind of effect that you would get. It starts off with that, and then you can put color over the top. So that's really all there is to it. We're just going to put this white ink on here, so you can see that there we have that white ink sat on top of that that glitter effect. So you can use it as a base material and set that and put your design over the top of it. So if you had CMYK in here, you could print that over the top and you would get a colored effect. In fact, we probably might be able to show you that on one of our other test files. Let me just quickly bring one up. I think I have one somewhere. So in this test file, we're going to demonstrate obviously how we could see color over the top of the glitter. So if we switch this over to glitter and we change maybe the color of the glitter, maybe it's more like that color. You can now see that when you print color over the top, you get colored glitter. Now, it only works with the lighter shades, so the darker the color, like when you go to like a two-color overlay with 100% cyan, 100% magenta, you're not seeing that light reflection coming through, so do bear that in mind, that the darker the color, the less you're going to see that glittery effect. Same with the black, but if you put the CMYK over the top or red, you can see there we get a blue, pink, yellow, green, red glitters. So that's what I mean about basically printing color over the top. So as you can see, cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. So there we have it. Multiple ways of being able to design using glitter as a post-finishing technique, either on something like a fabric, garment printing, could be on a greeting card, or using a base material as a reflective surface. So have a play around with it. If you have any questions, please reach out to us at hello@visualis3r.studio.